Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. It is 8:15 South African time. Welcome to the show. It's the 25th of August 2025. It's a Monday morning. And we now cross over to Jenin in Palestine. We'll be talking with Osama Nazzal. He's a journalist based there. And the story that we will be looking at today is that more than 500,000 people in Gaza are trapped in a famine marked by widespread starvation, destitution, and preventable deaths. This is according to a new integrated food security phase classification analysis released over the past few days. Famine conditions are projected to spread from Gaza Governorate to Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunus Governorates in the coming weeks. So the situation is absolutely dire, and sadly, the Western world still looks on without lifting a finger to remove this dire situation from the people of Gaza. Let's talk with Osama Nazzal. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
Very, very serious condition indeed. In my opinion, too late, 2 years on, and I should imagine apartheid Israel and the Western world truly are complicit in this current situation. Do you see any hope at all for this famine being lifted by allowing food aid trucks to come into the areas? Will that probably bring a bit of relief to the people of Gaza?
The situation in Gaza and all of the really catastrophic as Israel is using all the forms of brutality and inhumanity in order to subjugate and defeat the very soul of humans in the occupied Palestinian territories. The famine is getting every day from bad to worse as the warehouses in Gaza are fully empty and most of them are destroyed by the Israeli warplanes. And what Israel allows of humanitarian aid into Gaza is just a dripping. It is like a drop in the ocean, not sufficient for the 2.2 million Palestinians who have been subjected to Israeli bombardment and Israeli siege for almost 2 years. I don't think that there is going to be a breakthrough because this famine is not a result of a natural disaster. It is man-made, it is Israeli-made famine, and the aim of that is to expel the Palestinians out or to starve them to death without serious international position and without international sanctions on Israel, without showing Israel that it is going to pay the price for its crimes against humanity, for its war crimes against the people in Gaza, I think Israel would continue with this brutal and inhumane catastrophic conduct.
Clearly, apartheid Israel, are not too concerned about the actions that they've taken against the Palestinian people. They are carrying on relentless, brutally against and inhumanely against the people of Gaza and Palestine as a whole. It seems as if their intention is to rid Palestine of the indigenous people because they do have plans regarding Gaza and surrounding areas. That being said, by the end of September, more than 640,000 people will be facing catastrophic levels of food insecurity, and this is being classified as IPC Phase 5 across the Gaza Strip, and an additional 1.14 million people in the territory will be in emergency IPC Phase 4. What does this mean for the people on the ground?
It means that they are facing their fate. And, as I said, if we don't have an international position that would put an end to the Israeli occupation in humanity and rescue the life of the Palestinian children, the Palestinian women, the elderly, the citizens of Gaza. It is Israel's policy and it is Israel's systematic approach, which is based on denying the other the right to exist. Israel does not recognize the right of the Palestinian people to exist. And so it is working and it is doing everything it can using all the weapons that it has in order to end the existence of the Palestinian people. And the plan is very clear. Since day one, the officials that the Palestinians are not humans. They called us human animals, and they said that they won't allow water, electricity, or fuel into Gaza, which means that they are going to starve the people of Gaza, leaving them with two options: either to stay in Gaza and die, either of bombing or of starvation, or to leave Gaza. And leaving Gaza is not the option that the Palestinians have. And also the environmental conditions does not allow for the departure of Gaza, because we know all the crossings are closed first, and second, the Palestinians know that they don't have any other land for them but this land, Palestine, the land of our ancestors, the land that history witnesses that the Palestinians have the right to it, not the Zionists who came from Europe and from around the world and they claimed that it belongs to them.
We also understand that malnutrition among children in Gaza is accelerating at a catastrophic pace. In July alone, more than 12,000 children were identified as acutely malnourished, the highest monthly figure ever recorded, and a six-fold increase since the start of the year. Nearly 1 in 4 of these children were suffering from severe acute malnutrition, the deadliest form, with both short and long-term impacts. And before you respond to that, here in South Africa, we have many agencies that are on continuous drives to raise money to send aid to Gaza. Not only South Africa, but we do understand internationally, people who feel for the plight of Gaza and believe that this famine, that this genocide must and should end, are doing everything possible by way of protest, by fundraisers, to send much needed aid to Gaza. What in fact has happened or is happening with all of the aid supplies that have been forwarded onto Gaza over the past couple of months? Have the Israelis been complicit in destroying it or keeping it for themselves? What is the story there?
Yeah, first of all, the Palestinian people are appreciative of the position of South Africa people and government. And you know that South Africa has suffered much during the apartheid regime, and it has always been on the side of justice and the human rights, the side of the Palestinian people. And you were the only nation that filed a case against Israel with the ICJ. That must be mentioned and must be appreciated. Concerning the humanitarian aid, there are hundreds of the trucks that are on the Rafah crossing side waiting for permission from the Israeli occupation to get into Gaza, but Israel doesn't allow any of them. And despite that, there are pressure on Israel to allow these trucks to get into Gaza. They allowed just very few of them, as I said, that are not sufficient to suffice the minimum of the population there. So these humanitarian aid are going to spoil and to rot if Israel keeps intransigent and adamant and to understand that humanity must be the priority of every state and every individual. But what's happening here is really different. As I said, Israel doesn't see the Palestinians, as human beings, and they call the Palestinians the human animals. And we heard many statements by different Israeli officials and different Israeli personalities saying that The Israeli army has the right to kill Palestinian children. The Israeli army has the right to annihilate the Palestinian people. And the last statement was by a former Israeli intelligence official who said that every 50 years, the Palestinians must experience the Nakba. So the murder of the Palestinians, ending the existence of the Palestinians, is part of the Israeli system, the Israeli plan, the Israeli policy. And as I said before, without a positioning from the world, without awakening of the Arab and Muslim nation, the existence of the Palestinian people is at stake, and the situation that the Palestinians are facing today is unbearable and unimaginable.
We hear from Dr. Gabricius, the director of the World Health Organization, that a ceasefire is an absolute and moral imperative now. He goes on to say that the world has waited too long watching tragic and unnecessary deaths mount from this man-made famine, exactly what you had said. Widespread malnutrition means that even common and usually mild diseases like diarrhea are becoming absolutely fatal, especially for children. And the health system run by hungry and exhausted health workers cannot cope. Gaza must be urgently supplied with food and medicines to save the lives and begin the process of reversing malnutrition. But we also know that medical services are also in dire states. Very many of the hospitals have been bombed to smithereens. Do you believe that should aid be allowed to trickle in, and should doctors be able to attend to these people, children especially suffering from famine, that there is still hope for the children and there is still hope for Gaza? Or are apartheid Israel absolutely intent on the ethnic cleansing drive? Because clearly that seems to be their goal.
Really, yes, there are all the time statements by the United Nations officials, by the international human rights government, and international and the press to allow genocide. But Israel is turning a blind eye to all statements, has the full support from the American administration. And we saw yesterday how the American ambassador to France attacked the president of France for his humane position and for his support for ending genocide and recognizing the rights of the Palestinian people. So when Israel has this support from the main or the first power in the world, Israel is going to continue to show all the inhumanity and all the barbarity and all the brutality that it has inside. Really, sometimes we wonder here, why Israel is killing children? Why Israel is killing babies? Why Israel is not allowing formula entry for the Palestinian babies? Are these babies the enemies of Israel? Are they, as Israel calls them, terrorists? They are still babies, you know. All that they need is a can of milk and a loaf of bread, nothing more. But that is the mentality of the Zionist movement. It is aimed to end the existence of all the people of Palestine, whether children, women, elderly, young men, and it uses the pretext of Hamas and the Palestinian resistance in order to carry out its larger scheme, which is ending the history, the present, and the future of the Palestinian people, because those who are killed are not involved in any form of resistance. We are talking about women, we are talking about children, we are talking about old people whom we see every day how their bone is just covered with skin because of hunger and because of dehydration. These people are not involved in any form of resistance or any act against Israel, but this is Israel, this is colonialism, this is occupation, ending the life of the other.
Undoubtedly, it's now even beyond a genocide. It is now a Holocaust. And the intention of apartheid Israel is absolutely clear. They want to wipe out Palestinians from the face of the earth. And that is why they're targeting innocent children and babies. The intent is absolutely clear. Having shared with me what you've shared regarding the extreme dire situation in Gaza, there have been on and off talks about a ceasefire. Do you think that still might happen? And will a ceasefire reverse the situation at all? Does that mean a bit of hope for the people of Gaza and Palestine as a whole?
The ceasefire is the priority of every honest person on this earth, and the Palestinians have done everything possible in order to get to that. And when the Palestinian factions in Egypt accepted the Egyptian, Qatari, American proposal, and they agreed to every clause and every term of the American proposal, the Israeli Prime Minister and his government rejected that, indicating that whatever they get from the Palestinian side, they are going to continue the carnage against the Palestinians because they have one goal, and that goal is to empty Gaza, to empty Palestine from its indigenous people and replace the Palestinian people with the colonists who are coming from the Western world, from the Eastern world. But the only thing that Israel is concerned with is that to empty Palestine of its indigenous people. And this is not new really, because when Israel was established, we all know of the Zionist propaganda that they came to a land without a people for a people without it.
And that's where you're going to leave it, with much du'as for the people of Palestine. But I do want to share one post with you from Abdul Razak Ismailov. He is based in Eastern Europe. I think it's in Estonia. He's posted quite a number of messages, but I'd like to share just one with you. He says that the neo-Nazi Israeli regime has openly said their goal is a total annihilation of Palestine, just like Hitler's final solution. Israeli mainstream media and politicians are already quoting Hitler's satanic words as justification. So even though some of the people around the world support you in words, they can't do more than that. It is, I should imagine, very comforting knowing that people are aware of the plight of the Gazans and Palestinians, inshallah, and our du'as are with you, and we will continue doing what we can to assist the people of Gaza and Palestine. Thank you indeed for talking with us, Osama, Nazzal,
Thank you.
Jenin-based journalist. Go well with ongoing du'as for the, I guess, the freedom, absolute freedom of the people of Palestine.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is 8:34 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media. And next we are going to be talking with Mlingisi Makhanya. He is the president of Pudemo, which is the People's United Democratic Movement.